Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kenesha Dees. President Joe Biden's withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race is a historic and evolving situation. Joining me now in the studios are Simon Williams. And Simon, there is some precedence to this, but nothing like this has ever happened with previous presidents opting out of their campaign, right?
Yeah, Kenesha, this is definitely a historic moment. But while we've had an incumbent president drop out of the race before, it's not the first instance this time around. It's never happened this close to a general election, as yesterday marked 107 days out from Election Day. Now, no situation exists in a vacuum, so there's certainly going to be some similarities, but to say history repeats itself here is a bit inaccurate. The most recent instance of a sitting president in their first term not opting to run again, but completing their term, is Lyndon Johnson, head of the 1968 race. But even LBJ isn't an exact comparison to the Biden-Harris dynamic because he made his announcement in March of the election year, not a little over 4 months from Election Day, or even a month before the Democratic National Convention, which Joe Biden did. So let's look into the historical context of this current presidential transition. I asked Alabama A&M history professor Stacy Carter to rate the uniqueness of this event on a scale of 1 to 10.
The American people knew from Truman and from Johnson through television, through radio, and so this was not the case with Joe Biden. He wrote a letter. And it's also different because a lot of people kind of expected this was going to happen. And a lot of people kind of pushed him to, look, it's time for you to go. We can point to one event, and that was that debate that took place last month. Look, this was the beginning of the end for Joe Biden. And after that debate, everything just kind of steamrolled downhill in terms of the end of his campaign.
Sue Carter says it was an 8 out of 10 on the scale of uniqueness. Now, we'll try to contextualize this moment a bit more tomorrow with some more insight from historical experts and academics. But it's fair to recognize that this moment is far greater than trivia. It's part of history in the making. Kenesha, back to you.
Thank you, Simon, for that. Let's